Hey guys, it's Ebony from Living Lavishly. I'm back with another video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my college journey with you guys, a little bit about what I did in high school to prepare for college, how I think I got accepted to college, and the schools that I've been applying to. Now, a quick disclaimer before I start this video. I am by no means a college expert. I am not a college admissions counselor, nor am I specializing in college admissions. This is just me sharing my journey with you and how I think I got accepted to these schools and the things that I've personally done in high school and the things that I've noticed from other people along the way. All my college and school-based videos, that's all it ever is, because y'all, I'm by no means an expert. I've had my shares of trial and errors, and I will definitely be real with that about y'all, because we all have those, and I will definitely keep it real with you guys and tell you guys what my trials and errors were and the successes that I've had have had it well as well. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. I'm so sorry. The successes that I've had as well. And I'm going to keep it real with you guys, and I'm just going to tell you guys everything that I knew, everything that I now know, things that I think you guys should know, and things that I wish I would have known during the process to applying to college, and especially my junior and senior year. Things that I could have done to become a better candidate for schools, not only to get accepted, but to get more financial aid. Because what you guys always have to keep in the back of your head is that scholarships are just as important piece of the college process as getting into the school is, because a lot of people's barriers from going to the schools that they want to go to is the fact that they don't have the funding to do so. Because as we all know, college is a big expense that a lot of people cannot foot by themselves. Yes, there are those people that can walk up into college on the first day and be like, here's my enrollment. I'm unfortunately not in that boat. I don't know if any of you guys are in that boat, but for those of you who are not, this video is definitely to help you out. And I've definitely taken notes from other people. These are not all my own experiences, and I will tell you which are mine and which are not my own. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to DM me, hit me up, message me. I'm not weird about that at all. Like, I'm here to help you guys. That is the purpose of me doing this YouTube channel. So if you have any questions about what you should be doing as far as like post-secondary success, considering I am a rising senior getting ready to graduate in a couple months, I can definitely help you with that. Yeah, so let's get into the video. So people have been asking me a little bit about my school and like what school I go to and what's it like. So I go to a public school in Colorado. It's called Overland High School. That's where I went to high school all 4 years. It's like in the suburban area. So that's where I went. It's a public school. So one thing that I did notice throughout my 4 years was that I always stayed in the top 10% of my class. So the specific number ranking that I've held over the 4 years has definitely changed. It's definitely been fluid depending on my GPA and how I've compared with other people in my class. But regardless of what, all 4 years of my college career, I have always maintained in the top 10% of my class. And that was definitely a question that was asked of me on my college application, was what was my percentage in my class ranking at the time that I was applying. And I think that's very important that you guys try to stay in the top, the very few top to the 20 at the least, to get into especially the more selective, the colleges that are probably like more open on their acceptances. It probably doesn't matter as much, but if y'all are trying to apply to selective competitive schools, I would recommend that you try to stay. Y'all heard that voice crack, right? We're gonna ignore that. I'm human, I have flaws. Don't come for me in the comments. Anyways, the more competitive schools are definitely going to ask that you stay in the top 10 to top 20% of your class. And I've always made sure to do that, to stay in the top 10 to 20% of my class. But in my case, I've always been in the top 10% of my class. So following that, as far as grades, my GPA overall, as of right now, as we speak, my unweighted GPA is a 3.495. Unweighted, but weighted, my GPA was a 3.85 as we speak at this moment. Now, when you're applying to colleges, a lot of colleges give you the option of whether you want to provide your weighted or your unweighted GPA. But a lot of colleges that I know tend to make their decisions based off of weighted GPAs, especially if you're taking those honors and AP classes, because they understand that sometimes there can be a struggle when it comes to making those A's in those classes. So they most of the time look at that weighted unweighted GPA. So when I got accepted into a lot of colleges, the GPA that they were using was the 3.85, which was my weighted GPA. At one point in time, like my freshman and sophomore year, the beginning of my junior year, my unweighted GPA was a 3.85. That was unweighted. I think it was up into 3.89s actually. And that was that. So that was my GPA. My test scores, by no means am I a good test taker. So I know that it was not my SAT and my ACT scores that got me into any school, because I didn't even take the ACT, and I took the SAT once in the spring of my junior year. I know it was the fall of my junior year, and I had taken SAT with essay. I got amazing scores on my essays because if any of y'all know me, you know that I'm a very good writer. And I can write really well, so I got a 7 out of 8 and then some 8 out of 8s. Those were the essay scores that I received. Now, for the composite score, when we're speaking about our multiple choice and the evidence-based reading, math, and writing, my reading and writing was up there. Because y'all, I've always been very good at reading and writing. But math, especially the high-level math, which is what's on the SAT, definitely was a lower score. So altogether, my score was a 930, which is not very competitive at all. And a lot of colleges probably would deny you based on that case. So I'm telling you now, it is okay to not be a good test taker, but please make sure that other parts of your application, your GPA, your extracurriculars, your essay, your letters of rec, any other parts of the application that you were submitting to that college definitely make up for those test scores, because I feel like that is definitely what has kept me from being denied from a lot of different colleges, is that I have a holistic application and I'm not just relying on one aspect over the other of my application. I have a pretty good application that I was submitting to colleges. As far as schools that I've applied to, so my college journey was a little tricky because I was given on-site admission to some schools, and then there were some schools that I applied to. So my school had an HBCU and diversity college fair that they hosted in my school, and I was accepted to 3 schools on site. No financial aid offers so far from any, because I've not done my FAFSA, and I just don't think that I was competitive enough of an applicant off the bat for them to give me any financial aid on the spot. But the 3 schools that I was accepted to on the spot at this college, the college fair, was Dillard University in New Orleans, Louisiana, Bennett College for Women in either North or South Carolina, whichever one it is, and Shaw. So just keep in mind, when I was applying to schools, I only applied to HBCUs because I knew for sure that that was the college experience that I wanted. No matter whether I went to Spelman, Shaw, NCAT, any of those schools, I wanted the HBCU experience. I will talk more about why I chose an HBCU over a PWI in another video, but today I'm just going to be telling you guys the schools that I applied to, and probably go few by few on my biggest top schools on how I think I got accepted. So overall, I applied to Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland, Howard University in Washington, D.C., Norfolk University in Virginia, Virginia State University, which is obviously in Virginia, Spelman and Clark, which are on the AUC in Atlanta, Georgia, Xavier University of Atlanta in New Orleans, and Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee. Of all these schools, I've been accepted to every school except for 2, which was Spelman and Howard, because they are releasing their decisions on the 1st of April. So I will definitely be letting you guys know on those decisions, because I'll definitely have to do a video, considering those are the top 2 HBCUs in the country. Xavier comes in 3rd. So with that being said, let me get into a little bit of my profile, my academics. Just know that I took all AP and honors classes over all 4 years. So when colleges were looking at my transcript, they saw AP and honors all 4 years. And there was a point when I was taking all AP and honors classes. That's definitely the case this semester. All my classes are AP and honors. In college, dual enrollment, so I'm getting college credit. So those are the classes that I've been taking over the year. Colleges definitely want to see growth. If college classes your freshman year, maybe your sophomore year, not your thing, definitely show that you can keep up with your academics by having good grades, but try at some point in your college career, even if it's just your junior and senior year, to try to get some of those honors and AP classes in, because I know that's definitely what helps me and a lot of other applicants to get into schools. As far as extracurriculars, I was involved in a lot of stuff. I had a lot of awards. I was involved in a lot of different clubs. So y'all gonna have to bear with me. I might miss a few things here and there. Some stuff might be clear, but you can always DM me. So the first biggest extracurricular that I was a part of, that I had a lot of leadership in, was speech and debate. I have been in speech and debate for 4 years, all years of high school. I've done the same event all 4 years, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm very good at what I do. I'm a Lincoln Douglas. Okay, sorry y'all, I had a brief interruption. My mom came in and I don't like that sloppy filming stuff. So, as I was saying about my extracurriculars, I've done speech and debate all 4 years that I was in high school. I became the captain of speech and debate my junior year, and then senior year, I was promoted to president. I elaborated about that definitely a lot in my application because colleges like to see students with leadership. And I also talked about my successes in speech and debate. I placed within the top 8% at the University of California, Berkeley competition, the National Speech and Debate competition, my freshman year of high school, my first year doing debate. And every year that I went to Berkeley, so sophomore and junior year, I remained the same reputation that I had. I placed very well at a lot of local competitions as well. I always made sure that I was doing my best, and I talked about my leadership because, like I said, I was president my senior year, I was captain my junior year. I was very highly admired by the coach and the people on the team, and I was also a teacher, so I taught Lincoln Douglas debate to the new people, so I helped in organizing the speech and debate camp that we held over fall break for the people that wanted to join speech and debate for the following semester. So I definitely made sure to talk about those things. If you guys have extracurriculars that you're involved in, no matter how many, because y'all, colleges are not looking for y'all to be involved in every single club in the book. You need to pick one or two and get good at them. If being in a lot of things is your things, it will show to the college, but it will also show to them when you're kind of like BSing it and being a con artist. So if it's more your thing to be small and get good at one or two things, do that. But definitely show your college's commitment, growth, and leadership in whatever you do. The second biggest thing that I had over my college career, as far as my extracurriculars, would have to be choir. I was part of addition choir all 3 years up until my junior year, and then senior year I stopped doing choir because other things, other extracurriculars in my life took precedent over choir because my voice goes with me no matter where I go. I can always pick up choir again in college or whenever I choose to do that, if I choose to do it. But all 3 years that I was a part of college, I'm not part of college, a part of high school, I was in the audition choir. My sophomore and junior year, I was a section leader in my choir, which means that I was responsible for helping the girls learn their music, and I had a leadership role, and I worked hand in hand with the choir director. And my junior year, I was also part of 2 choirs. I was part of the audition jazz ensemble and the audition choral ensemble. So that shows the growth that I'm talking about the colleges look for and the leadership. And outside of that, I was also part of all-state choir, which means that I was part of the audition choir for Colorado, which is very prestige. You have to have a lot of good sight reading skills, and you also have to have a lot of good singing skills. So that shows growth and potential commitment. And I was also a section leader in choir, in all-state choir. So there's that. Another extracurricular that I've been like really impacted by, and it was a big deal to me, has been newspaper. I would say that's a big thing to me because I joined this my senior year. This is my first year being in newspaper. I did not have leadership role in it, but I made sure to express in my application how much newspaper meant to me because I love to write. I'm creative, I'm artistic with my words, I'm vocal about my opinions. So writing did a lot for me, and I made sure to include some of my pieces that I've wrote in the newspaper in my application and portfolios, which I'll get a little into a little more when it comes time for that. Another big one that I was a part of. I was part of NHS. I was inducted my spring of my sophomore year, and I was a part of it junior and senior year. I had leadership in NHS both years. My junior year, I was committee chair of the social committee, which meant I was in charge of organizing social events for the chapter in my school. Senior year, I was head of the service committee because I wanted to make it a big deal for people to be getting in hours, but getting in meaningful service hours. So I did that. Another big, huge one that I have on my application as far as my extracurriculars is the organization, my own organization that I've started from the ground up. It is called Power. possibility of winning every race. That is what mine stands for. I can definitely do a video about my organization, but it's just an organization in which I mentor young high school and middle school African American girls so they can be the best versions of themselves that they can be, because I definitely had help along the way, but everybody does not have the assets that I had available to them along the way in order to be successful. So that was a big one. And I was part of Especially Me. I was a mentor for 2 years for the middle school girls, and I would definitely come back as a college mentor to mentor because that's something I love doing. I love sharing my voice with high school girls and helping them be the best version of themselves that they can be. I won an award from the Especially Me conference my sophomore year for outstanding character, leaderships, and academics. So though that's a little glimpse of like the extracurricular stuff that I was putting on my application. If y'all have any questions about how to get involved in extracurriculars, if it's worth putting on there. Oh, and I also forgot one more thing. If y'all have like YouTube, or you have like a music channel, or you have a blog, or any of that, like a huge social media presence that's like, nah, I'm not talking about Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter. Everybody has that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about pages that show college recruiters who you are. So if you have a YouTube, so at the time when I was applying to college, I did not have a YouTube. So I was not going to put that in there because sometimes they want the link to those to see what kind of person you are, like away from the books, away from like just who are you. But I did put on there that I have a blog, because I do have a blog. It is called Found, where I write about various different topics. So y'all should definitely check that out, like I mentioned in my Q&A. So moving on, as far as extracurriculars and my involvement, I already talked about the classes. So as far as letter of rec, that's going to be very important, who you get it from and what they are saying. So when you're getting your letter of rec, it's usually from a junior or senior year teacher, but more than likely a junior, especially if you're applying early action so that your teachers have a chance to know you. In my case, I got one letter of rec from my AP Lang teacher, who was also my AP Lit teacher my senior year. She was able to write a lot about me because my junior year was when I was going through a lot of my problems. So she was able to advocate for me on that and show that I have a lot of perseverance and I'm very strong and resilient. And she was also able to talk about my character in the classroom. My second letter of rec came from a teacher who had me my freshman year for biology and then my junior year for genetics. And he wrote me a letter of rec because he's known me all 4 years of high school. And then my third letter of rec that I got that I sent to colleges was from my speech and debate captain that has been with me my sophomore to senior year, because he knows me and my involvement that I have in speech and debate in the classroom and in my other extracurriculars that I do. So when you're choosing who you want to write your letter of rec, it's important that you choose someone who, one, is going to write a letter of rec that shows you in the best light, not a teacher who you had an F in their class, who you're always talking, or they don't necessarily have good things to say about you, or someone that doesn't really know you, because you don't want a teacher that you only had for a semester or a year, but you weren't that close. Like, you want someone who, it sounds like the college admission recs, counselors are asking them, who is this person? And they're able to give like a clear account on who you are as a person. That's who you want to have. I've known all of those teachers and coaches, like I've said, for a long period of time. So that's why they were able to write the best letter of recommendations for me. On to the next one, my essay. I'm not going to share with you guys specifically like specific details of my essay, but in general, my essay was about a transformative moment in my life, something that definitely changed me and made me the person who I am, specifically speaking to my service that I have in my community. I'm not going to talk about exactly what I wrote in my essay because, well, I mean, I can, because it's over, so it don't matter. So in my essay, I wrote about how I went to the Especially Me conference and I was impacted by the story of the girls, and that inspired me to start my own organization. I'll definitely talk to you guys more about my essay and how I wrote my essay, the process of writing my essay, and good topics to write your essays on, do's and don'ts of the college essay, all that kind of stuff. I'll definitely be talking about that. The supplementaries. I didn't have many supplements because a lot of colleges weren't taking it, because I was not applying for an arts major or minor or to be like heavily involved in any arts program. I did not submit a portfolio, but Howard did leave the option for me to leave the link to my blog so that they could look at the different things that I have on my website when reviewing my application. So I did leave that link for them to do that, most definitely. Some tips that I have for you guys when you're applying. Definitely apply early decision when you can. Make sure that your test scores are the way that you want them to be by the end of junior year, if not the very beginning of senior year. You need to be taking those tests over the summer so that when that application opens on August 1st, or whenever it opens for whatever college you're trying to apply to, that you can be ready to hit send over the summer of your junior year. I need you, your junior year, be getting those letters of rec that you need. The summer of your junior year, you need to be writing those essays that you need for college. You need to be making sure that your application is ready to send off by the latest for September, because I know that most early decision applications are due in November. That's how it was for me. For a lot of schools that I noticed that I was applying to, I did not make those deadlines. It would have probably been a lot smoother application process, and I probably would have gotten a lot more acceptances a lot faster had I applied early action. So if you have the ability to apply early action, please definitely do so. That's why I say keep your grades junior year in tippity top shape, because those are the grades, if you're applying early action, that your college is going to see. But also make sure that when you're applying that you keep your transcript as squeaky clean as possible, because when you get accepted, it is possible for those colleges to revoke those acceptances and say that we no longer want to accept this student because of A, B, and C, because this, and this has happened, so they will no longer accept you. So just be very careful of that you're keeping your grades together senior year. Don't procrastinate, like I said, because even in regular decision, I've known of people missing deadlines and they haven't been able to apply, and that screws a lot of people around. Be yourself, because colleges can definitely tell when you're trying to be somebody else. Don't try to be like me, your favorite YouTuber, the smartest kid in your school, because that's not going to get you into the school that you want to go to. Because 9 times out of 10, they're not going to accept you for being somebody else, because they already have that person that you're trying to be. Be yourself, because the best you will give you the best shot at getting into whatever school that you want to get into. So I'm going to ask that all of you just be yourself in your essay, in your application. Just be you. Let them see who you genuinely are, and that's going to help you get into schools. Do your research. Don't just be applying to 400 schools for the sake of applying if it's not a school that you want to go to, because it's going to make your decision a lot harder. I do wish I would have narrowed my list down and been very realistic with myself when it came to what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go and where I realistically would go and could go. And I wouldn't have had all the stress trying to decide where I'm trying to go, because as I'm getting all these acceptances, it's just making it a lot harder for me to decide where I want to go. So having 40 million acceptances in the end don't really do anything. Just apply to a few schools that you want to go to, that you have a pretty good chance of getting into. And that would be my advice, is how many schools you should apply to. And just do your best. Like, everybody can't get accepted everywhere. Like, I know they have this thing like Spelman and Howard are the best HBCUs. In my opinion, yes, that is true. But everybody cannot go to Spelman and Howard. And that doesn't mean you're not successful because you don't go to Spelman or Howard. Same thing for any of your other top competitive schools. You don't get on Harvard, that don't mean you're not smart, because every smart person can't go to Harvard. There's only so many dorm rooms on that college campus, so they can only accept so many people. A lot of college decisions, and I've heard this from college admission reps myself, are made based on split hair decisions. It's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with the person coming after you. It's literally split hair decisions based off of the profile, but we'll get into that in another video. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys in today's video, as far as what my stats were, what my college preparation looks like, who I was in high school. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll get back to you guys with another video soon. Let me know in the comments what y'all want to see below. Comment, make sure to be active with me. Subscribe, like, share with your friends, share the channel, and all that. So we out. Keep living lavishly. See you in the next video.